Hello guys, welcome to a new video. In this video I will share with you some interesting things that were planned for Alice Madness Returns sequel named Alice Asylum. I will mention the outfits she would wear, the enemies' attacks, powers and some other things, and I will leave the story for another video because it seems to be huge and maybe it would be like more than one video, probably. I will start with some general things. One of them is that the game would have 12 realms. Alice would be 13 years old. The game's length would be between 15 and 20 hours. Exists a central hub to add replayability. The levels would have a lightning and environmental variation. The DLCs were going to be outfits, limited time content related to special occasions like Halloween and Christmas, and DLCs that continue the main story. Some of Alice's moves would be walking in compressed paths, hide, tightrope walk, diving, swimming, using ropes, climbing, ledge grab and pull, peeking, crawling, key turning, throwing something from behind a cover, edge walk, and slingshot aim. Alice's inactive states would be catching a butterfly, petting the Cheshire, and swaying Indel. The death animation would be the same, but they would have tentacles coming from the ground, grabbing the butterflies, and then Alice would reappear in the checkpoint and we would see the remaining tentacles coming back to the ground. The game has the same difficulties as the previous games and a new one named Ultra Nightmare. It has everything that the Nightmare has, and the only difference is that if you die, you start from the beginning of the game. I think this mode is nuts. Like, imagine being in the end of the game, you die and you have to start all over again. Not fun. And to be honest, I think a lot of people would not be able to get like all trophies or achievements because super hard. There are soft and hard gated areas. By the name, it isn't hard to figure out the ones that are harder. They may have bosses, puzzles and other challenges. The health bar would have a rose that serves as one hit shield, which means that when you activate it, you can just take one hit without taking any damage. I guess that should be used to avoid stronger attacks. And these roses obviously were collectibles. For the weapon selection, we would use a wheel to choose which weapon we want. We would also use the D-pad for a quick selection of our favorite ones. Now, looking at the enemies' attacks, we see that some would be able to poison Alice. Others would teleport through shadows and it would only work in light areas, because you need light to make shadows. Enemies would bite Alice and sometimes would shoo her. Alice would struggle to be able to escape. If she wasn't successful, she would be torn apart and swallowed. Enemies would scale walls, buy time for enemies to appear, or disengage Alice to hide. Some enemies, if not attacked, can heal themselves. I hate when they do this. Enemies with fire attacks would use it to block paths, and Alice would catch fire and had to go to a place with water or using some specific healing for fire. Then we would have enemies that would be able to create copies of themselves, but those copies can be destroyed with just one attack. They will be shattered like glass. And the last one is that we would have enemies that would create traps in the environment. Now, Let's talk about the outfits, and I was surprised we have so many. I liked how they try to give a meaning to all of them. So the first outfit would be the mop dress. There is a meaning behind this, like a mop that is always drawn to the fire, Alice is drawn to the truth. This dress represents the fragile sanity and precarious life between all those nightmares. Then we have the denial dress. Its meaning is the fact that it's hard to face the terrible truth, so you denied. Then we have the circus performer, and basically this is how Alice doesn't feel happy, but the show must go on. Then we have the classic dress that represents her true self in Wonderland. Then we have the red monarch dress. This represents Alice's anger mixed with her innocence of a childish vessel that is not ready to understand her own anger. Then the judgment omen dress. It's about deciding between the right and the wrong. There are questions to be confronted by Alice's anger. Then we have the alchemy dress that kind of tries to compare Alice's emotions to the alchemy elements. There's always an emotion that is way more stronger than the other. For one to be stronger, the other needs to be weaker, and the same happens with the alchemy elements. Then we have the sorrow dress, and this is basically the dark reality of Alice's life. Sorrow is one of the strongest sentiments that Alice has during the games. Then we have the chaos dress, and this is about Alice becoming one with herself, but that doesn't mean she found peace. Then we have the armor of lies, and this basically shows that Alice decides that she needs to fight her demons no matter if she's ready or not. Then we have the shadow, and her range here takes full control and she attacks everything until the shadow is consumed by the inner darkness. This one is actually quite creepy. Then we have the moon dress. It represents the hope that Alice still has, and without knowing, the shadow lets some hope reach Alice. Shadow in light is another outfit. This means that there is no shadow without darkness. Now Alice has her hopeful inner child back, and this is balanced with the resolve of her shadow. London attired, we saw this one also in the previous game, and it's like the real Alice, it's how she looks in real life. Eclipse dress, this is the final dress. Here Alice is in full control of her darkness, having a balance between light and dark. Do you remember the hysteria mode in the previous game? Well, that only would be activated when Alice was almost close to death. So this special power would be beneficial for bad players. The good players would not have the chance to have fun using this power most of the time. So the developers thought of bringing a new special power named Inferno that we would be able to use by defeating enemies, and as a result the special bar would start to fill, and when full we could use this new power. If we get it, the meter goes down. For this power we would need the necklace of chaos. And now I will talk about dress runes abilities. Basically each rune would give Alice a power, and we would need to defeat a special enemy to acquire that rune. So the first one is sulfur, and would set enemies on fire while attacking them. If some of them were in determined area of range, they will also get burned. This ability could be leveled up, increasing the chance of occurrence, range and damage. When fully upgraded, Burning Fury will be unlocked, which slowly increases Inferno super state bar and adds the chance of fire attacks to Hysteria. To get this rune, Alice would need to defeat the Flame Demon. Rune Aqua Fortis. For this one, we needed to defeat the Crone, and this rune would be basically a debug ability that makes enemies weaker. When the rune is fully upgraded, we gain the Weeping Blade, and enemies will be poisoned and lose health over time. While using this rune, Alice is also more vulnerable and takes more damage than normal. The Lithium rune improves double jump and in-air mobility speed. The fight is enhanced and we get some evasive options while using ranged weapons, airborne and jumping. To get this, we need to defeat the Sky Wraith. The Iron rune improves Alice's resistance by 10% by each upgrade, so she ends up with 30% in total. Her special power would protect her from ranged attacks, and in the final stage would throw back those attacks to enemies and would make double damage. And to get this, we needed to defeat the Iron Golem. The Jupiter rune, it's a corrosion power that takes health from enemies. If the enemy dies close to another one, that enemy may also start being affected. While using the power, Alice takes more 20% damage in total after all the upgrades. To get this, we needed to defeat Acidic Anuran. The Saturn rune works when Alice runs out of life. Everything will slow down and she won't receive damage. Before the timer runs out, the player can use a healing item to avoid death. Otherwise, she will die. To get this, we needed to defeat the Fool. The Sagittarius rune would slow down time while using ranged attacks, so you can cause a critical attack. This applies to melee or close ranged attacks are weaker, and to get this, we need to defeat the Watcher. Cancer rune basically makes the melee and closed ranged attacks stronger, and if enemies are defeated fast, like when you are trying to do combos, the chance of getting items increases. To get it, you need to defeat Bra Shiura. Taurus rune slows down time to make counter attacks easier. After all the hits, a stacking 10% chance will be applied that, once triggered, will negate all the damage from the next incoming blow. To get this, you need to defeat the Taurian Berserker. The Sun rune will attract items to make them easier to collect. All health pickups would give an extra 20% of health. This rune can't be selected if the Moon rune is activated. Fully upgraded makes Alice keep regenerating health if she isn't fighting enemies. To get this, we need to defeat the Elianthus. The Moon rune is basically kind of the opposite of the Sun, so Alice gains health by damaging and killing enemies, but if you collect or use health items, you lose health. Fully upgraded, Alice could regain all her health after killing an enemy. To get this, we needed to defeat Phobos Anomaly, Gemini. This doubles the damage that Alice causes, but also the one that she suffers. When used with other runes, it also doubles their effects, which is cool. The Speculum dolls are the ones that we need to defeat to get this rune. To end this video, I will just mention a few things. We have here some items. We have the Mercury Jack Stone that will make the Mercury Jacks float around Alice, and they will protect her against damage, and also if enemies get too close, they will get hurt. Then we have the Death Time Watch that slows time, and Alice is the one who walks at the normal speed, so yeah, she can do a lot of damage if she slows down time. So those were all the things that I had to share with you. I hope you enjoyed it. If this is the first video that you watch from me, I have another one with cut content about Alice Madness, so maybe you will like to check that. And yeah, like always, don't forget to leave a like because it helps the video reach more people, and also subscribe for more videos. Until next time, bye bye.